What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got a very interesting video today. I'm just outside SMC Bikes in Sheffield Motorcycle Centre. I'm having a go on the KTM 390 Adventure today. The guy's just getting out of me now. Here he comes actually. So I'm pretty interested to test this bike out. For those who don't know though, Sheffield Motorcycle Centre or SMC are the KTM and Ducati dealership in Sheffield. I bought my V4S from here and the service I had from these guys was just absolutely amazing. You probably saw when I had that issue with Ducati, if not look up here. But for anyone who doesn't know, I'll just give you, while we fill out some paperwork, a quick walk around the showroom and point out some of the cool stuff they've got here. Right, so as you can see, pretty cool showroom. This is the 390 Adventure. Let's have a look. Right, so KTM 390 Adventure. I'm going to give this a bit of everything today and try and do a reasonably in-depth review. So apologies in advance if the video is a touch long, but this bike's aimed at a fairly wide audience and wide use case. So I think it's important that I try and give it a blast in all areas. So I'll do what I usually do. I give you some real first impressions. Never ridden this before, not looked at any other reviews, try to keep unbiased, so it'll be a proper first impressions review. Then I'm going to go and take it for a ride. I'm going to do some motorway mileage on it, because that's, you know, a lot of the sort of use case for an adventure bike is going to be on the motorway, getting to where you want to go and adventure basically. And when I get off the motorway, there's some there's a light-ish green lane that I know that's probably pretty much perfect for this bike. I think KTM are marketing this as a you know, sort of adventure off-road bike for all men and women. So I don't think it's sort of ever marketed or intended to be a Dakar rally sort of bike, but it's intended to give you sort of introduction to off-roading and green lanes and be able to handle that sort of light to medium stuff. So I'm going to do that, and then on the way back we'll come home through some sort of more twisty country roads where we can explore the handling and sort of dynamics of the bike as well. and then in between all that, after we've done some green laning, I'll probably get off and do a walk around of the bike, talk you through some of the key specifications, etc. So hope that's all good. But as per my usual MO, first impressions leaving the dealership are very nice. The first thing I noticed when I got on this was the weight of it. So it's really light. Just moving it around in the car park there to get a couple of photographs and manoeuvring it around, it's really light, and I can feel it underneath me now. It feels really pleasant. It's that sort of typical adventure bike seating position, which is super comfortable. The bars are perfect actually, for how I want them. The seating position is lovely. The seat's firm. I'll tell you if it's too firm later, but it feels quite firm. But the ergonomic feeling of this so far is lovely. The engine feels actually quite pokey than I thought. You know, I'm just holding 70 here, cruising along 65. That's pleasant. There's still plenty more left in top. The build quality feels really nice. KTM are really killing it at the minute. I love some of their bikes. I've rode the bigger brother to this, the 1290, and I really like that bike. I was a little unfair on it actually. I sort of said it was a bit lazy to turn in, but then when I looked back at the video and read some of the comments, they were like, you've not adjusted the rear preload, so I had it on 0%, and really I should, particularly for my weight, could have done with bumping that up to maybe 50%, which would have really improved that sort of slightly lazier feel on turning. But again, you know, it's an adventure bike, bigger wheel, it's going to feel a bit more like that anyway. So that 1290 is a beast, but that kind of is a, you know, pretty hardcore, powerful adventure bike. This bike's A2 license friendly, so the spectrum of people that this bike is available to and would be useful for is quite massive. You know, but just cruising along now, actually, it's not underpowered. I was a little bit fearful it would be, but it really isn't, just for cruising at least. Anyway, we'll see how we get on the back roads later. But yeah, so first impressions are really light, super comfortable, build quality is lovely, KTM paint is just, this orange is gorgeous. The dashboard is lovely, the 1290 was great as well, it's super easy to use with the arrows and the switch gear. And there's everything you could possibly need on there. We'll run through all that on the walk around later. And the engine is nice and pokey. Gearbox feels nice. Yeah, really nice and smooth. Yeah, and the brakes work. So they're my first impressions. Oh, handguards are standard as well. That's useful. Glad to see that. Getting a little bit of wind buffeting, but nothing offensive from that screen. We'll have a look at that later, see if it's adjustable or not, but that's not too bad. Motorway speeds. So yeah, look, that's a real quick first impressions. Let me go and ride it and see what I do and don't like, and then I'll come back to you later. We'll go and jump on the motorway now and see how it handles that first. Right, so pulling onto motorway now, 4th gear, plenty of torque, mid-range there. Nice. Yeah, okay. It's not lacking in power. So right, we're cruising along now, 70 motorway speeds. I'm getting a little bit of wind buffeting on the shoulders, but nothing that's crazy. It's not as vibey as I thought it would be through the bars. It's a little bit vibey, but I think this is a single cylinder engine, and it's really refined for that type of engine. So we're just cruising up to 80 now, just sat here now, one-handed, cruising speed. That's really comfortable actually. There's no reason why I couldn't do decent miles on this. Right, so just as we're pulling off the motorway section of the trip now, I just thought I'd check in with you and just sort of try and break this down into little segments really, because like I said before, this bike's going to be used for a whole sorts of different situations, and I can happily tell you that the motorway cruising section is a big plus one. Super comfortable. Wind protection's okay, it's not brilliant but it's not rubbish. Around 70-80 it's fine. You start to go above that, it gets a little bit a little bit much, but no, that's not a problem, that's fine. What else? The sorry, just trying to remember where I'm going here. Yeah, the suspension is really plush and really nice, and most importantly for that type of riding, the engine is more than ample. You get you know, pretty steady away cruising at you know, 70-80 miles an hour, no problem, literally no problem. It's actually really comfortable. Much better than I expected. I expected it to be really vibrating and vibing and sort of rattling all over the place, but it really isn't. It's a refined engine. You know, a single cylinder engine of this size at that speed, that's a real you know, that's a real achievement for KTM to have pulled off here. So yeah, pretty impressed. So motorway section, spot on. So let's go and find the green lane that I was talking about previously, and we'll go and see how it handles the off-road bit. Right, so this is a green lane that I know. It's only a fairly light one, but so KTM sort of market this as I can't remember the exact words, I'm paraphrasing, but sort of an introductory machine to sort of light to moderate off-roading. So that's kind of what this is. We've got sort of semi-off-road tyres on here, so let's just go and see how it handles it. I'm only going to take this really steady because this is obviously not my bike and I don't want to deck it. Well, let's stand up on it now. Suspension's doing well, probably do first gear actually at that speed. One thing I noticed from coming down here on my my KTM, my 350 XCF, is these bars are quite low when you stood up like this, and I feel like for standing up could probably do with them being an inch higher, just to give me a bit more control. I'm leant a little bit forward. There's obviously a trade-off there though, because on the road it's absolutely perfect, super comfortable. So you've got to kind of think, where's this bike going to be used the most? You could get bar risers, I'm absolutely sure of that. It's not a huge problem, but the bars, yeah, they could do with just being a bit higher. But it's handling these undulations and bumps really solidly. Let's go down this bit here. Yeah, very cool. So what we can also do, just to stop a second, is if you see here we've got ABS, road and traction control on. If we go in here, we can put the ABS in off-road, which basically means that it unlocks the back wheel so you can skid it, and then we can get the traction off. The traction's now off, so this is more what you would generally want as an off-road setup. Yeah, so you can spin the back wheel a bit. Don't tell SMC. Do you know, it's not that bad stuff actually, to be fair, it's okay. I just like the bars a touch higher. It's a minor niggle, not a huge problem. But this is really good. It's got a 19-inch front wheel on this as well to help it cope with off-road situations. Do you know, I'm really pleasantly surprised by this bike, and I don't mean that like I was thinking it was going to be rubbish, but so far so good. Green laning, another tick. Awesome. Right, let's go and find somewhere to do a walk around, and we'll talk you through some spec chat. Right, so first things first, what do you think to the looks? It's bigger than I thought, which is a good thing, by the way. That's not a criticism. It's got that little or smaller bike weight and feel, but actually to sit on it and to look at it, it still looks nice, big, chunky, imposing. Excuse me. I've got a lot of love for KTM at the minute. I think they're doing they're they're doing some really good things. I really actually fancying a Super Duke R, but that's another video. But I love the front end. Some do, some don't. You've got off-road tyres. There's a sort of skid plate at the bottom, you can see down here. So they have really genuinely designed this to go off-road. I'm not mad keen on the exhaust, if I'm honest, but I guess that's a Euro 5. It's got a water-cooled 4-stroke 373cc engine in the middle. Got a slipper clutch, obviously. 6-speed gearbox. And it's obviously a A2 license-friendly bike. The difference between this one and the Duke is that it's got a longer suspension. It's got 170mm of wheel travel from these are adjustable WP forks. You can see in here. It's also got a longer shock and 19-inch front wheel, as I said earlier, on the road, which actually coming over these humps and bumps around here was really useful. Seat height's 855. It's not a low seat height. I think anybody who's really short may sort of be, tiptoeing. But I'm 6 foot tall and I'm pretty flat-footed on the floor with this, so it's not too bad. Let's show you the instrument panel. It's fairly basic, but it's got everything that you need. KTM dashboards are among the best in the biz. So it's got everything on there. You've got arrows to change here, but essentially you've got your traction and ABS you can change. You've got various trip modes and data that you can adjust here. You've got the KTM My Ride option with the audio navigation and pairing. And then you can go into settings to change Bluetooth. Shift light. Shift light needs to change actually. If you look here, it's not available below 6. It's not running yet. That's what that's saying. Just so anybody who's not sure. So you can change the shift light, change the clock, service, etc. And then any extra functions, cornering ABS if you select it, which suggests that's an option. So you can have cornering ABS, but really all you want is traction and ABS on this. And because it's off-road capable, you can turn the traction off and ABS off on the bike, and you've got a proper off-roader. And as I've just shown you coming over those humps and bumps in the green lanes, it is a genuine, definitely proper off-roader. The only caveat would be that if you're going to do some serious off-roading, you might want to change them tyres because they're sort of halfway house. Now, here's the kicker on this. This bike is $5.5 grand. $5.5 grand. That's a lot of bike for the money. That's a massive amount of bike for the money, to be honest. I'm actually stunned. You look at the build quality and everything you get on it. It's, pretty badass. You've got 43 horsepower. You know, you saw me in the motorway. I was cruising along at 80. I'll be honest with you, I opened up a little bit to do an overtake in an emergency, obviously. And it went up to 100, pretty steady. But cruising at 80's more than fine. You've got 2-year warranty, same with all KTMs. So from a reliability point of view, I don't hear too many issues with KTM at all, frankly. I know a lot of people who really love this brand. So I think that's the main thing. I'm not going to go too deep into it. Have a look at it yourself. As anything, I always say, come and test ride these bikes. Big thanks to SMC at Sheffield again for loaning me this. Go and hit them up. They're a great dealership, lovely dealership, Ducati and KTM. So if you're in the market for one of these, you can also go and drool at some Ducatis as well, which is no bad thing. So, right, the last thing I'm going to do is take it around some twisties and some country roads on the way back to the dealership, and then I can genuinely say that I've done all types of riding on this, and we'll wrap it up. So see you in a bit. Right, let's go and see how this handles some bends. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. Woo! It's got more poke than you might think, this. Certainly more poke than I thought. Tips in really nice. Yeah, very pleasant. Stable round there. It's not horrendously quick steering, but again, you wouldn't expect that, you know. But it's not slow steering. Maybe some fairly fast bends there, and that was capable, I think is the word, and fun, actually. More importantly, it was fun. You know, it's just enough power to be fun, and not enough to be scary and, you know, intimidating for newer riders, or even new riders. You know, and it's probably something that there's enough power for you not to get bored super quick. Wouldn't be a test ride if I didn't need fuel. We'll get some in a bit. Should make it to the next petrol station. But yeah, let's go and do some more sort of tyre twisties. Well, that was pretty. I want to do more. That's a good sign. It makes me want to do more. I've got a smile. You can't see this, but I'm smiling, which is another good sign. What a cool bike. Yeah, it certainly doesn't like a turn of speed. I'm a big fan of these slightly less powerful, you know, non-litre hyperbike things that you can rev a bit and, you know, really use the most of the bike. You're still pretty much going as fast as what you will be doing on a bloody 1100, but you're just working the bike properly, and it's quite a nice feeling. Yeah, look, no lack of power to overtake here. I'm not doing illegal speeds, and yet it feels fun. Right, this next set of bends that's coming up is my favourite little handling course, because they're sort of slowish, twisty, good surface. This one sort of tightens up, so you've got to get on the brakes, leaning over a bit, tip it in, power out. Nice, plenty of power to get out. Likes to be revved, this engine as well. Oh, it feels nice. On the brakes, brakes are good. Change of direction's decent. Hey, it loves to be revved. What a cool little bike. Nice. Okay. Right. Yep. It handles well. Right, let's go and put a bit of fuel in. We'll do the walking bike from the petrol station test, as is famous on the channel now, and then I'll do some conclusions and wrap it all up for you. Right, walking back from the petrol station test. Do you know what? That's a good looking bike. Paint scheme helps. I think the size of it helps. It's a big chunky thing, bigger than what you'd expect. That black and orange is gorgeous. Yeah, okay. Look, looks are subjective, and trust me, my wife will tell you that. But for me, in my eyes, this is a good looking machine. 100%. Just put like 5 litres of fuel in, it's got over half a tank. On that, actually, KTM quote that this will do 150 miles to a tank, which is pretty decent actually for this. Right, okay, so I've done, you know, a good chunk of motorway cruising on this. I've been off-road on it, on some sort of moderate green lanes. I've done some fast country road sweepers, and I've done some tight and twisty bits, and just bopping through a village now. So I've done a bit of everything on this bike, and I have to say I am really pleasantly surprised by this. I didn't think it wasn't going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be as good as this, if that makes sense. It's really, really good. It sort of does everything well. You know, you have to review. I hate saying review because I'm not a reviewer. I'm just a guy who buys bikes and like buys too many bikes and likes to give you my opinion. So you have to give an opinion of a bike based on what that bike is aimed to do. So there's no point in reviewing this and saying, well, it's crap round a track. Well, yeah, of course it is. You know, if you have to be critical of this, you know, it does run out of puff a little bit at the top end. What else could I be critical about it? But I mean, again, like, compared to what? You know, compared to its competition, no, I think this is pretty much class leading. You know. Compared to a Ducati V4S, well, yeah, of course it does. That's the point, right? You know, wind protection's only other minor negative, or two minor other negatives really. The wind protection from the screen is average. It's okay. It's good at 70, but when you get to like 80, 85, it starts to buff at your chest a bit. Again, I'm 6 foot tall, so you know, get a bigger screen if you want, whatever. And the only other minor negative, and the more I rode it off road, the more I felt it was minor, is the bars. Whilst they're perfect now for road riding, and I'm coming on to the comfort in a minute, for off-road riding, when you stood up on the pegs, that you leant over a little bit. So if you're going to do a lot of off-road riding on this, which I suspect you're probably not, then you might want to think about bar raisers. But other than that, talk about the positives. The engine is a peach. It's a really sort of eager, refined, more refined than you think for an engine of this configuration. Revvy engine, it just wants to be revved, you know, get it up to like between 8 and 10,000 RPM and it sort of sings. Plenty of punch, plenty of mid-range, again, more than you'd think. Come and ride this bike. I mean, you need to ride it, it's alright me telling you, but the engine's great. There's a lot more power than what one would believe. The comfort is phenomenal, it's brilliant. Like I could ride all day on this. I've been on it a couple of hours now and I'm just chilling. See, I thought it was firm when I first got on it. That was my initial impression. It is firm, but it's not uncomfortable firm. The riding position is perfect. You literally, the bars where they are now, my arms are like in the almost perfect riding position for me for being relaxed. Back's nice and straight. The pillion pad at the back is just supporting my lower bum, which is nice. And the sort of width of the bars is nice just to help you manoeuvre it. And on the manoeuvrability point of view, the weight of it, because it's such a light machine, and it really does feel light, trust me, not only manoeuvring around when you're stationary or going slow, but actually the whole cornering aspect of it, because it's so light, makes it more fun. It's more flickable and engaging. And again, you know, relatively for an adventure bike, don't get me wrong, but it's really, like, look, just flicking across to that side there, like, it's so light and easy to move around. It makes it fun, and then you can gas it out of here, and there's plenty of go-go juice. The whole drivetrain in and of itself, the throttle is really nice. There's no jerkiness. It's a great throttle. Gearbox is super slick. No quick shift or auto blip on this, but you know, clutch to upshift's about the same as a quick shifter, to be honest. Build quality is phenomenal, beautiful build quality. The screen is one of the best in the biz. You know, you get hand guards, traction, you can off-road mode for ABS, so you can unlock the rear wheel, turn the traction off when you're off-road as well. There's an option of cornering ABS on here as well, I believe. You can pair your phone to it, all sorts of cool things. You can pair a navigation system to it as well. Yeah, the suspension feels plush. Ride quality for just cruising, it really soaks it up, but then felt solid as a rock around the corners. I'm really struggling to find, you know, anything majorly wrong with this. It does everything well, and it, you know, whilst it might not appeal to the, you know, hardcore, super hardcore power junkies, you know, that's why KTM have got a 1290 or their mid-range one. You know, there's a bike for everybody, but I do genuinely think that this bike appeals to a really wide spectrum of people, and I guarantee if you thought about this and thought maybe it's a little bit too underpowered, I think you'd be pretty pleasantly surprised. And my suggestion would be, strongly actually, go and ride it. Yeah, yeah, it does everything well. In summary, that's kind of the tagline of this bike. Does everything really well. I've said A2 license friendly probably about 3 times. Yeah, I'm really looking at getting into this sort of more comfortable adventure type bike, super naked. I'm not sure yet. At some point in time I'm going to buy something similar to this, so I'm really enjoying these reviews of these bikes that are a bit different to your sort of hyper sport bikes, and this is an excellent machine, so well done KTM. Yeah, I'm really loving what you guys are doing at the minute, so good job, great bike, and highly recommended on the Mostly Motorbikes channel for what that's worth. Right, I'm waffling, as usual, blah blah blah. Hit the like button, it really helps me out. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. There's loads more content coming. I've got some big plans this year, and yeah, that's great. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what you want to see. If you want to see me compare this against something else or whatever, I'd be really interested to know. So yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks SMC, and I'll see you on the next one.